Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Does the government treat Toyota the same as it does all the other automakers?
In the last 3 years, we've had 23 million recalls. The vast majority have not been Toyota. The answer is absolutely correct, yes.
My understanding is that the GM Cobalt, which I happen to own, I was surprised after learning this information, that in February, NHTSA opened an investigation into the steering mechanism in the GM Cobalt based on 1,157 complaints. My understanding is that based on 84 complaints, the model year 2009 Corollas were also opened up. Two questions. Why did it take NHTSA so long, when we're talking about model year 2005 and 2006 Cobalts, to jump into this fray? And why is there such an apparent discrepancy between the number of Cobalts versus the number of Corollas?
You mean the number of complaints?
Yeah.
We take 30,000 complaints a year. Every one is taken seriously. We look at every one, we review every one, and we make a judgment call about when to start an investigation.
Why did it take so long?
I'll have to get
1,000 complaints.
Look, I'll have to get back to you. I don't know the specifics on that, but I want you to know this.
Well,
Safety.
1 out of every 30 complaints is about this Cobalt, according to your stats. So why did it take so long, and what is the current status?
I'll get back to you for the record.
What is the current status of this?
It's under investigation.
Do you honestly believe that Toyota is being held to exactly the same standard as General Motors and everybody else?
Absolutely. 100%.
Is there any sort of interaction with the United Auto Workers on any part of this whatsoever?
Absolutely not.
What is the so-called negotiation? I don't understand why a regulatory body involved in the safety and security has to enter into a negotiation with a company. I'm not understanding that term and what that really means.
Well, we want to talk to them. We need to get information from them. We need to talk to them about what our investigation is about, what we're looking at, what kind of information we need in order to do the good investigation that needs to be done.
My understanding is there's a February 5th, 2010 report entitled, quote, Toyota's Sudden Unintended Acceleration report claimed that NHTSA had an incomplete investigative findings are, quote, certainly the result of insufficient resources. Do you believe that it's common for NHTSA to not be able to go as fully into these problems and challenges because of insufficient resources, or is it some other reason?
We have resources. We have, as I said, we have about 125 engineers. We have electrical engineers. I believe we have the resources in the President's budget proposed for 2011. 66 additional slots would come to NHTSA if that budget were approved by Congress.
Well, my understanding is that it's common, standard language for NHTSA to say, quote, in the view of, if a defect petition is denied by NHTSA, to use the language, quote, in view of the need to allocate and prioritize NHTSA's limited resources to best accomplish the agency's safety mission, the petition is denied. Is there a reason that that language is routinely used? I mean, if you're saying that you do have the sufficient resources and you're using this statement on a regular basis, they seem to contradict each other.
You know what? I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know the reference you're making on that.
There's been some anecdotal allegations, and I don't know if they're true, that's why I'm asking the question, that there seems to be an increase in the number of attorneys that are going into NHTSA and a decrease in the number of engineers. Can you give me a sense of what's really happening in terms of the balance of the employees?
I'll put it on the record. How many attorneys versus how many engineers?
I'm sorry, you don't know the...
I don't know the... I want to be accurate because I'm under oath. If you want to know the exact number of lawyers versus the exact number of engineers, I'll put it on the record for you.
That would be great. Are there any other failures that we see within the system, or complaints or concerns by citizens that have been given to NHTSA that are above and beyond the number that we saw with Toyota, that have not gone into this category of being recalled or going into some other?
I would say the one thing which I've already talked about is the electronics, and that's something that, as I said, we're going to review that because people have come to us, both Toyota drivers and owners and members of Congress, who believe that the electronics are a problem, and we're going to look into that.
Do you believe that there's too cozy of a relationship between NHTSA and the industry? And the second part of that question is
No.
why would
Absolutely not.
But why would Toyota go hire former NHTSA employees if not to just engender a more cozy type of relationship?
You'll have to ask the employees. There is not a cozy relationship. In the last 3 years, we've recalled 23 million cars.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.